is for the win. This 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 is for the win. 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 This is for the win.
Welcome back to the CPENN4THEWIN Show. This is your host, Charles Penn, and we are back with episode number 21. We are back from a long vacation. I know some of you guys have missed me. Be like, Chuck, when you coming back, man? When you gonna air another show? Well, you know, me and my producer TJ, we had to take some time off just to refresh our brains, you know, and just get locked in again. But it's great to be back. Matter of fact, I want to say what's up to my producer TJ. TJ, how you doing today, man?
I'm cooling, man. What's the deal? It's good to be back, man. Long time no see. Thank y'all for tuning in, man. We working still. We working.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, so this is episode number 21. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment, and share on your social media platforms. Well, today, before we get into March Madness, because you know it is that time of the year, and I'm going to give y'all a few little breakdowns of whatever, some teams that I like, you know, little nuggets here and there. But before we get to that, let's tap into the association a little bit. You know, the NBA, they returned from the All-Star break not too long ago. And we still got the top teams out here, your typical, you know, Utah Jazz, Lakers, Clippers, and then out in the East you got the Sixers, the Nets, and the Bucks. So, but what I want to talk about first is the MVP race, and it's been quite interesting throughout the year. It's been, I know Joel Embiid's been the front runner for the majority of the season, but it's been some shuffling a bit between like number 2 through 5 and everything. Right now, everyone knows Joel Embiid. He's currently sidelined with a knee bruise in his left knee, which I'm not sure about that. It looked like his knee hyperextended to me when he got hurt. But anyway, right now he's still atop of the MVP race. But I want to talk about the other candidates here, and I want to talk about James Harden because to me, I got him second in the MVP race right now. Everybody want to say, you know, the Brooklyn Nets, they're a super hype team. You know what I'm saying? They're super juiced up. They got all these stars or whatever, but Kevin Durant's been out for like a month or so change. Kyrie's been in and out of the lineup. And with all that being said, James Harden, he's done a great job of keeping that team afloat. Now, the one thing I'll point out is there's never been a player in NBA history that's been traded. I don't want to say mid-season, but traded during the season and gone to another team and won an MVP award. So I don't think James is going to get it. I don't think James is going to get it. I mean, just based on the situation. And, you know, he's in a much better situation. But what he's doing in Brooklyn is amazing, man. Like, he's back to leading the league in assists. And we know he's done that before. And James Harden, to me, he's one of the best passers in the league. Like, we done seen it before from him. And you could tell, like, he's still comfortable under the Steve Nash, Mike D'Antoni system. Because we've seen it in Houston. Like, he knows how to run the team. He's a decent floor general. And he knows how to distribute the basketball. He's good at lead passing. And, you know, getting his guys to the spot to where they can get an easy bucket like a layup or a dunk, or he'll find a way to dish out to the shooters. And, of course, he's one of the best offensive players in the league, you know, as far as like creating his own shot. He's not really trying to bait the refs as much as many people per se. He's kind of dialed that down a little bit. And he's dialed down the flopping tremendously too, because I know a lot of people was complaining about that too. It's just that James Harden, he's starting to be a little bit more of a complete player. You know, his perimeter defense is still a little bit desired, but you know, he's still one of the best post defenders in the game. And at the end of the day, it wouldn't surprise me, like with Embiid being out, the Nets, they take over the number 1 seed in the East, and I think they hold on. And what's great about it is, you know, they don't have to rush Kevin Durant back. So to me, James Harden, he should be an MVP candidate. I think he'll finish pretty high. Now, the next guy I want to talk about is Damian Lillard out in Portland. Right now, the Portland Trail Blazers, they're currently the 6th seed out west. Damian Lillard, what he's done, he's putting up tremendous numbers. You know what I mean? He's one of the top scorers in the NBA. But what's making him special is his clutchness in the fourth quarter. Like, he's top 2 in every single category as far as clutch scoring. That's points, field goals, free throw percentage, 3-point percentage, etc. And Damian Lillard, during that time when CJ McCollum was out, You know, he kept the Portland Trailblazers afloat. They got on a little 6-game winning streak, and then they kind of crashed down to earth a little bit. But now all of a sudden they're playing well again. And to me, like I think that's enough for him to be in the MVP conversation, in my opinion. And we all know that Houston Nurkic has been out for the year. So you know, with Portland, I mean, everyone knows Portland, they struggle defensively. And like with Portland, they have to pretty much outscore teams in order to win. And Damian Lillard has come through in the clutch so many times in the fourth quarter for that Portland Trailblazers team. Without him, we don't know where Portland would be. Portland, they might not be a playoff team right now. So I think he's third on my list. And fourth on my list is Nikola Jokic. Now, Nikola Jokic, he's been putting up historical numbers in Denver. The thing with Denver right now is they're fifth right now, right? I mean, they got a better record than Portland, right? My thing with Denver is they're struggling defensively. Like, at the end of the day, I think Plumlee and Grant, not having those guys, and Torrey Grant, that's hurt them defensively. And I think it's caused Nikola Jokic to do a little more than what he's been asked to previously. But with that being said, with his presence out on the court, you know, getting guys involved and everything, you know, Denver, they starting to get a little groove, you know what I mean? They starting to get a little healthy too, because Michael Porter Jr. is out for a minute too. So right now, you know, Jokic, he's a few assists away from averaging a triple-double right now. So, and to round out my top 5 MVP candidates is Giannis Antetokounmpo. I'm gonna give Giannis some love here. The Milwaukee Bucks, they still a top 3 team out east. And Giannis is nearly putting up identical numbers to his previous MVP season. He's currently back-to-back MVPs. I don't think the league is going to push him to win a third straight MVP. I doubt it, but I think he should get some consideration for the MVP. The guy's on the tear. He's averaging a double-double easily, almost 30 and 10. So the Bucks right now, they've been from a betting standpoint, they've been covering spreads pretty easily and convincingly, and they've been winning games ever since Drew Holiday got back in the lineup. They've been rolling, and Giannis has been leading the troops the entire way. So that rounds up my top 5 MVP candidates. Now, I know people are gonna watch this. Some people are gonna watch this and be like, "Chuck, where's LeBron at? Where's LeBron at?" All right, listen. I listen. I don't mind LeBron being in discussions, but trying to push him to be the front runner. No, I can't get with that, because what I seen the other day is that he's put up 2 straight triple doubles, right? Okay, we gotta look at it in context. The Minnesota Timberwolves, where they at in the West? TJ, you know where Minnesota Timberwolves are in the West?
Probably not in the playoff run.
Yeah, are they near the bottom, or are they at the bottom?
They probably at the bottom.
Yeah, at the bottom. So I expect LeBron to put up a triple. I expect LeBron to put up an amazing performance against the worst team in the NBA.
Yeah.
So, and they was going back and forth with them at home. You know what I mean? They didn't really pull away till the fourth quarter of that game. And then you play the Golden State Warriors now. Okay, Golden State, they are a 500 team. They are a playoff team. But if you really, really watch that game, LeBron was struggling in the first half. He had 7 assists, but he did have 5 turnovers. So it was an iffy game for him. And then the second half, the Lakers already had the game in the bag. Like, they was up big by 20 in the fourth quarter. Montrezl Harrell was taking advantage of his matchup inside, and Taylor Horton-Tucker had a great game, and KCP was hitting his threes. And then LeBron decided to check back in the game just so he can try to get his triple double, and he got it. So I can't give LeBron that MVP love, you know, just in that manner. And of course, we've seen the other games too. Like, without Anthony Davis against the elite teams, the Lakers struggled. I remember vividly, like, the Utah Jazz game when Utah dominated them at home. It showed, like, LeBron was struggling in that game, and there was a stretch in which in that second quarter the game got out of hand. Like I remember LeBron got stripped when he was trying to size up Russell O'Neal in the post, and he got the ball stripped from him. And then the next 3 possessions, you know, LeBron was complaining to the ref. And meanwhile, Utah Jazz coming down the other end, they coming around the other end, busting trays and getting layups. And so that's why I can't give LeBron MVP love. I know, like, here's the thing. He is the face of the league, so the national reporters, they do got to talk about him just because being the MVP race. Now, if you look at the stats, yeah, The stats show he's an MVP candidate. But if you really watch the game, really watch the game, majority of the time, LeBron's not guarding the best player on the court. Like, what LeBron does, he's been playing free safety the past few years, trying to direct guys into spots and everything. But against certain teams, you're gonna be scrambling all over the place to try to defend the 3-point line, and that's where LeBron led teams that got him burned in the NBA Finals specifically. Like against teams that can get out of transition and find the shooters on the outside. So that's just something to look out for. Now, I'm not saying the Lakers aren't gonna get to the finals or anything. Like, it wouldn't shock me if they get back to the finals. They still one of the favorites, of course. But as far as the MVP candidate, I think the Lakers team, I feel like the Lakers team in general has been carrying the Lakers more so than LeBron's carrying the Lakers. And that's how I look at it. All right, let's get on the NFL free agency. To kick things off, we're going to start with the New England Patriots. The New England Patriots, they have spent the most money out of any team in NFL free agency so far. Let's see, Bill Belichick seen that Tom Brady won the 7th ring, and he's like, okay, you going to leave me and go to Tampa and just went out the gate like that? I got something to prove. But sometimes, but to me, these signings, it looked like the Patriots were just spending money to just spend money at times. I seen for the starters, the wide receivers they signed, Nelson Aguilar. I believe he was a product of the Raiders system. Like, he had a great year, you know what I mean? He cut down on dropping passes and everything, but I just don't know how he'll fit in this New England offense. I mean, I think he needs a repeat year for me to be convinced on him. Kendrick Bourne, he was part of the championship. He was part of the NFC Championship roster in San Fran. He's been mainly a third down red zone type of guy. Now this would be like kind of a bigger role for him, depending on if he does do well in camp. So Kendrick, I'm kind of iffy on the receivers, but tight ends. The tight ends they signed on paper, they look pretty good. But when you look at their injury history, you kind of have to ask yourself a lot of questions. They signed Jonnu Smith and they signed Hunter Henry, two extremely talented guys at the tight end position. We'll just have to see about their health. If they're healthy, then it'll definitely help out Cam. You know what I mean? The short passing game. And then on the offensive line, they signed Trent Brown, the left tackle, and then you got Matt Judon from the Ravens. He's an outside linebacker, pass rusher. And you got defensive tackle Devon Jadar. And then you got Jalen Mills from the Eagles. So they spent quite a bit of money on their free agents. We'll just have to see how this team gels. You know what I mean? So I know last year the Miami Dolphins were the team that was acquiring all kinds of players, and they almost made the playoffs. So who knows? New England, they might get back to a team that's probably at 500, maybe a little higher. So we'll just have to see what happens with that. Now, the other big free agent news is Trent Williams. Trent Williams became the highest paid left tackle in NFL history. Now, actually the highest paid offensive tackle in general in NFL history. Now, what's crazy is that the Kansas City Chiefs, they were in line to try to get Trent Williams as well. The latest report I seen was that they got really close on that morning before Trent Williams essentially signed back with the San Francisco 49ers to finish his career in San Fran. I assume he's going to finish his career in San Fran and be content with that. But Trent Williams, he's been at the top of his game for an extremely long time. He's going to go down as one of the best left tackles we've seen play the game. I know the deal was 6 years, $138 million. So that's a lot of bank. And I just wish that my team would have been able to come through, but it is what it is, man. Yeah. You can't get them all, right? So that's a big acquisition for the San Francisco 49ers. And then they got Alex Mack on the line. They acquired him as well. So the offensive line will get strong again. It's just a matter of health with the San Fran 49ers. But to me, they still need a quarterback because I don't think Garoppolo is it. But other than that, everybody else on the team, they pretty solid. And speaking of my Chiefs, man, they made their big signing. They signed Joseph Thuney for New England from the New England Patriots. He's a guard. He plays left guard, I believe, which he could transition to a left tackle. But I know a lot of people was questioning the signing because the Chiefs need to address the tackles, and I think the Chiefs are playing. The Chiefs got plenty of time to address that. You know what I mean? I'm convinced about the other tackles as far as free agency, but in the draft, the offensive line is very deep. It's a very deep offensive line class. So I think the Chiefs should be able to address that pretty well. And they also signed Kyle Long to a 1-year deal. Kyle Long, he's coming back from retirement. He took a year off. He previously played with the Chicago Bears. He's one of Howie Long's sons. That's a plus. He got his daddy's background. His daddy's football background. But the thing with Kyle Long is the last 4 seasons he hasn't played a full season. He's been injured. Like, he's been kind of off and on, like kind of in and out of the lineup, and that's going to be a major concern for the Chiefs if they don't get their depth completely straight on the offensive line. It's like you're signing, not to take a shot at him or anything, because he was a big part of the Chiefs winning the Super Bowl a few years ago. But it's like signing the Sammy Watkins as an offensive lineman. So we'll have to see what happens with that. And as far as and then of course you still got the free agency period going on, but those are the 2 biggest news that we have right now for NFL free agency. There's more to come, and we'll just have to stay tuned to see if more big surprises and more big signings happen along the way. It is that time of the year, people. Let's get the March Madness. Let's get to some college hoops. Thank God we have it this year. Last year, unfortunately, due to the pandemic, it got canceled. I was looking forward to the Florida State Dayton national championship game, but it didn't happen. Unfortunately, it is what it is. We got to move forward, because it would have been great to see Obi Toppin, and then Leonard Hamilton coaching on the Florida State sidelines with their talent. But this year, I got a few intriguing things to say about that. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and go through the regions real quick. I'm gonna start off with the South. Now, with the South, to me, man, this was the most intriguing. This was the most difficult region to try to accomplish, to try to fill out, because you got Baylor's number 1 seed, right? But Baylor, they're talented, but man, I just had a hard time trusting Scott Drew, man. Because in the past, Scott Drew has choked in the tournament. He's been to 1 Final Four, but all the other times he's had talent on his team, that Baylor team, the Baylor team's been going home earlier than expected. But I think in the South region, I ultimately decided on just the talent, just overcoming everything. I got Baylor coming out the South, but I got a few teams that could pull out some upsets here. I'm looking at number 12 seed Winthrop going to Villanova. Villanova, they're missing their point guard, and in a tournament, you got to have your floor general out there, because if you don't have your conductor out there just conducting everything and getting guys in the right spot on offense when they run their sets, that's gonna be trouble for Villanova. And Villanova, they've been on the backslide since they lost Connor Gillespie for the year. So Winthrop, they 23-1 on the season. They're a dangerous team. I got them advancing. Matter of fact, I got them advancing to the Sweet 16 before they lose to Baylor. And another team I got is Utah State. Utah State, that's another team that I'm looking at to make a Sweet 16 run. They're the 11th seed, and I got them beating Texas Tech. Neemias Queta, he's a big man for Utah State. This guy, the stuff I've seen on film, this dude's vertical is crazy. He knows how to block shots. He knows how to position himself to contest shots and block shots. And he's also pretty fluid on offense. He got a nice turnaround jumper. He has great footwork, and he's only gonna get better. He's one of the top prospects in this year's NBA draft class if he were to declare. So I got to go into the Sweet 16, but here's one more team I got for a major upset, and I think this is a bold prediction for me. I think Oral Roberts upsets Ohio State, man. Ohio State, they're number 2 seed, but they closing out games like they're John Rocker on the mound, and everybody knows who John Rocker is. John Rocker had a rough time on that mound closing out games, and that's how Ohio State been playing down the stretch. So to me, I'm looking at this matchup, and Oral Roberts matches up pretty well, man. They got this guy named Max Asmus. I think he was named a consensus All-American. So this guy here, he's got Damian Lillard type skills, man. I've seen this dude pull from the logo, and he's also a decent distributor of the basketball. And this kid's just incredible. And we seen before where Oral Roberts has gone against teams that try to double team him, and he finds shooters all over the floor, and they've been making shots lately. I think Oral Roberts, they shot 42% from the three in a little tournament they just had in the Summer League. So I'm gonna go extremely bold and say Oral Roberts upset Ohio State. That's my big upset in that region. So let's go to the next region. Let's go to the Midwest. The Midwest, it's quite intriguing, man. You got a few stars here. Ayo Dosunmu from Illinois. You got Cade Cunningham. He's supposed to be projected as the #1 overall pick in the draft from Oklahoma State. And then you got Houston. Houston, they pretty solid too. But essentially in this region, I went on ahead and took Illinois. It was kind of tough too because I'm looking at a possible Sweet 16 matchup between Illinois and Oklahoma State. I feel like that's kind of a coin flip game, and I think the winner of that game is going to go to the Final Four. You're gonna see some great basketball. I think the difference in that matchup will be Illinois has the size. Oklahoma State, if you watch the Big 12 tournament, when they played against Texas, they struggled down low. Like Texas had the big man, the size to take advantage of Oklahoma State, and they was dominating them down low. And Illinois has a big man named Kofi Cockburn, and this guy's been playing pretty well heading into the tournament. So I think the little two-man game of him and Ayo, they should be able to take advantage of Oklahoma State's disadvantage down low. And I think it'll essentially be enough. But just know that Cade Cunningham is going to put on the show in this tournament. And as far as like an upset or anything, I didn't really see like a possible upset, you know what I mean, in this region. The only upset I possibly see here is Rutgers beating Clemson, but that's not really upset. Both of those teams was terrible. But the main upset I got here is San Diego State. They going to the Sweet 16. I think they can go, actually not the Sweet 16. I got them going to the Elite 8. So that's my big pick for that region in the Midwest, for San Diego State to go pretty far. All right, so let's go to the other side of the bracket. Let's go to the east side. Michigan, they're the #1 overall seed out east. Shout out to Juwan Howard. You know, he's done a great job. This will be his first NCAA tournament. Unfortunately, they losing their second leading scorer, and I think that's going to kill them. And I'm going to address that here in a sec. You got Florida State, like I mentioned, Leonard Hamilton. I'm a big fan of his coaching. They still a pretty good talented team, led by Scotty Barnes. He's a freshman phenom. You know, he's a nice all-around point guard. And then you also got Alabama, Nate Oates. I think Nate Oates is next up as far as like one of the best coaches in college basketball. Because Alabama, I mean, people didn't expect Alabama basketball to be a thing. You know what I mean? And it's finally come to fruition. The recruits have been there. I think Avery Johnson kind of set the foundation, you know what I mean, as far as getting the talent at Alabama. But Nate Oates has done a great job coaching them up. So in this region, I got a surprise for people, man. Michigan, I can't see them getting out of the second round, man. It's unfortunate because I feel like either LSU or St. Bonaventure can beat them. And that LSU St. Bonaventure game, I think that's the game of the week to me for the first round. These are two contrasting styles. LSU, they know how to fill it up. They know how to get out, you know, in transition and, you know, put up buckets. You know what I mean? Cameron Thomas, he's one of the best scorers in the nation. He know how to create his own shot. But I essentially picked St. Bonaventure. I think St. Bonaventure, they can slow him down just enough. They got a big man named O.C. Osuni. He's pretty good. He's raw, but, you know, he's developing pretty nice. And St. Bonaventure also has another sniper on the team. They got a nice guard, you know what I mean? So he's kind of like a sniper, how Cameron Thomas is. So I think St. Bonaventure matches up pretty well at LSU. And I think they go to the Sweet 16, man. I think they beat LSU and they upset Virginia. So that's my big upset in this East region. Now, as far as who I got coming out the East region, I got Alabama, man. I think it's Nate Oates' time to shine. I mean, it was tough. I hope Leonard Hamilton could somehow get it done, but Alabama just got a little more talent, and I truly believe that they're going to come out their East region. So which leads me to the final region here out West. We got a star-studded region out west as far as like individual players, man. You got Luka Garza from Iowa. You got Kansas, Ochai Obaji, and you got Ohio, Jason Preston, who's one of my favorites. He's one of the best point guards in the nation, and I'll tell you about him in a sec. And you also got Santa Barbara, McLaughlin, and Zagorowski in that 5-12 matchup with Creighton and Santa Barbara. And you got Gonzaga, of course, who's the most complete team in the nation, led by Jalen Suggs. So in this region, it's quite obvious, man. Gonzaga, they got a pretty easy road ahead for the most part. But I think, yeah, they definitely gonna come out that region for sure, easily. But it's gonna be intriguing. Like, I'm looking at my bracket right now in the Sweet 16 matchup when they go against Ohio, Jalen Suggs and Jason Preston. That's gonna be a heck of a point guard matchup. Jason Preston, he understands pace, and he knows how to use the two-man game well. He knows how to finish at the rim. If you haven't watched this kid play, you might want to check out maybe like some highlights or maybe a condensed game. The kid's incredible. And Jalen Suggs, everybody knows about him. He's a projected top 3 pick in the draft too. He's a great floor general. He knows how to score as well. Now I picked the 12-13 matchup in this region. I got Ohio and Santa Barbara. I think that's the 12-13 matchup that's going to happen in this tournament. And then when I look at the rest of it, I wasn't convinced on Iowa at first, but just looking at their road, I think Iowa should be okay. I think they'll get to the Elite Eight where they'll eventually lose to Gonzaga, and I'm sure that's gonna be a matchup everybody want to see. You know, Luka Garza, he's been one of the best players in the country all year long. Skilled big man offensively. Defense is in question, but you know, he's a decent rebounder and he knows how to score around the basket. So let's get to the Final Four. The Final Four here, Alabama, Gonzaga. That'll be the first matchup. So Gonzaga, they just been the most complete team all year long. If Gonzaga don't win it this year, I don't think Mark Few's gonna win it at all, man. Like, this is his best opportunity to finally get over the hump and finally get it done. It's not like Gonzaga hasn't played a national championship game before. So I think they play in the national championship game, and they'll be playing against Illinois. Illinois-Baylor, that's going to be a great guard matchup. I think Ayo Dosunmu, he's on a mission right now, and Illinois will be facing Gonzaga in the national championship game, and I got the Zags, man. Like, like I said, they're just a more complete team than anybody in this field, man. And if they were to win the national championship, they'll be the second team in NCAA history to go undefeated and win the national championship game. So that's all I'm rolling with, man. I'm excited for some upsets. I'm excited for some bracket busters, and I'm excited for, you know, some of these star players that we're gonna see in this tournament, whether it's the mid majors or the high major. So we're going to see what happens, man. All right, that will conclude episode number 21 of the CPENN for the Win Show. Yes, we are back. We are back for sure. And I want to thank you guys for tuning in again. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and comment. Share on all your social media platforms. TJ, anything you want to say before we head on out of here, man?
Hey, man, we out here, man. Y'all thought we was gone? Nah, we back, boy.
We are back. Until episode number 22, we are out of here.
Hey, yeah!